We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Sifatim Sosa, and Savita Wirima is our sign language interpreter tonight. Our top stories. Government calls on citizens to spearhead national progress by developing innovative solutions to address the country's pressing challenges. The Roads Fund Administration allocates 15.5 billion kwacha for the rehabilitation and maintenance of Lilongwe City roads. And the Northern Region Football Association raises concern over rehabilitation delays of Mzuzu Stadium. We're glad you could join us. Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Cervic Namalomba, has stressed the need for the country to come up with innovative solutions that respond to challenges which are affecting the country, such as Forex. Namalomba said this in Lilongwe during the National ICT Innovations Awards, which have been organized by the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, MACRA, and will be an annual event. Beatrice Mwape reports.
The National ICT Innovation Awards have been designed to support Malawi's 2063 development aspirations with a focus on agricultural productivity and commercialization, industrialization, urbanization pillars, and human capital development and digital economy enablers. According to MACRA, the aim is to identify and showcase innovative, impactful ICT solutions, enhance participation of youth, women, and marginalized groups in ICT innovation, and strengthen Malawi's national digital innovation. In addition, they also seek to promote innovation in ICT and encourage the use of ICT in the country. Speaking during the launch, Minister of Information Cervic Namalomba says for the country to achieve the digitalization agenda, there is need to build towards digital empowerment by embracing digital technology. Namalomba believes this can create jobs and build a sustainable digital economy.
We become masters of our own destiny. We address our problems on our own because we know those problems, they affect us. By coming up with local solutions, we address those problems properly. And indeed, yes, we are also creating jobs. We are also, and we have the opportunity of actually scaling that talent, that innovation up, selling it to our neighboring countries.
In his remarks, the Japanese ambassador to Malawi, Naito Yasushi, has commended government and MACRA for the initiative, which he says celebrates homegrown digital innovations. Yasushi says there is need for coordinated efforts by all sectors and development partners to scale up Malawi's local innovations, stressing Japan's commitment in supporting Malawi's digital transformation drive.
We are very inspired. So what we do is the winners of this award to have interaction with visiting innovators from Japan. That is in September. But I would like to see various opportunities for matching. If they are interested in, they might have work together, and they might have a potential sort of investors.
On his part, MACRA's Director General, Mayami Gomkoloma, says MACRA seeks to ensure the innovations grow and create jobs through export of the innovations and strengthen the country's economy. He has since called on decision makers to embrace local ICT innovations, invest in Malawian solutions, and trust Malawian talent in order to build a sustainable digital economy.
Innovation to grow, it cannot grow alone. We need a collaborative effort. That's why even today we have put forward different stakeholders across the ecosystem to be in one room to appreciate what our innovators are doing, scale their innovations so that they can reach out to different areas in the country.
Over 260 innovators across the country applied for the awards, and about 20 have been shortlisted for further evaluation. Top 2 winners are expected to represent Malawi at the AI for Good Global Summit in Geneva, Switzerland in July this year. Beatrice Mwape, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri says government is conducting transfers within councils as a way of sanitizing its institutions against corruption, incompetence and lawlessness. Piri made the announcement at the 10th Women Councillors Caucus annual conference in Blantyre, organized by the Malawi Local Government Association, MALGA. Opile Kaisa has details in this report.
The minister described corruption, incompetence and lawlessness as counterproductive, hence the need for government's intervention. Piri further urged women councillors to remain professional when discharging their duties.
The President, Professor Thapita Mutharika, His Excellency, has given us a new direction on how we work. That requires a lot of discipline, that requires a lot of integrity, that requires as well a corrupt-free society. Oftentimes, wherever you are working, you create networks within yourselves. It's inevitable. You become part of the community. Now, to just change overnight, it becomes a difficult thing to adjust. So we are saying, under the new leadership of Professor Thapita Mutharika, the staff within our councils have caught the fire. They are ready to move. But these norms that usually affect us are affecting us, and we're saying we can't deprive Malawians of this new drive, because it's a drive to develop the nation. That's why we are now moving them around to make sure that they start afresh with new energy where they are, to make sure that the vision of His Excellency President are complete.
MALGA's Executive Director, Hadrud Mkandawire, described the Women Councillors Caucus as a platform for women councillors to voice out issues affecting them at both local and national levels.
The Women Councillors Caucus is part of the structures under the association that was established to ensure that the women voice is galvanized, to ensure that issues that are affecting women, both at political as well as at the local level, are brought to the fore. They're elevated and amplified, because issues of gender inequality at all levels are not a secret in this country. There's literature supporting this. So to ensure that the local authorities are contributing effectively to gender equality, women emancipation, as well as advancing the rights of women and girls, there's a need to establish the caucus.
During the discussions, Judith Senjere, councillor for Palombe Likulezi Ward, explained that lack of unity amongst women, limited financial resources, gender stereotypes, cultural beliefs and family responsibilities are some of the issues affecting progress of women in leadership positions.
There are a lot of challenges, financially, self-confidence, and sometimes we also face criticism in our community, because looking at a woman, everyone thinks a woman cannot do, but actually a woman can do. So we face a lot of challenges that need support from our community and our leaders.
The theme for the conference is Transforming Local Government, Enhancing Women's Leadership, Voice and Power. Upile Kaisa, MBC News, Blantyre.
Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Bright Msaka, has described primary education advisors as key to improving the quality of education in Malawi. He made the remarks in Lilongwe during the commissioning of motorcycles aimed at improving their mobility. Chinsisi Moyo reports.
The government has commissioned 114 motorcycles worth 1.5 billion kwacha to ease mobility challenges faced by primary education advisors pairs. Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Bright Msaka, says the move will strengthen supervision and improve quality assurance in schools. Msaka described primary education advisors as the backbone of the education system, saying they play a key role in guiding teachers and improving learners' performance. He added that lack of transport has for a long time affected effective monitoring, especially in remote areas.
Mobility has been a challenge, and as you know, some of the schools are in places difficult to reach. Fortunately, a motorcycle can get almost everywhere. We have some motorcycles in the districts, certainly not enough. This is the first time under Professor Thapita Mutharika's government that the Malawi government has bought as many as 114 motorcycles to be distributed all across the country. We are confident that they will transform the education system, they will transform how we deliver on quality, they will transform how we do our work.
Speaking on behalf of the beneficiaries, coordinating primary education advisor from Chinji, Raphael Beleko, said the motorcycles will improve efficiency in their work.
The provision of these motorcycles to primary education advisors is a great relief and a very great support to us towards our work as advisors, since we needed to timely move to schools to carry out advisory and supervision support, where we observe lessons, support teachers, support communities, but the primary goal is to check on the quality of teaching and learning and then provide necessary support. So we are very, very happy about this, and we commend the government for this timely support.
The motorcycles are expected to enhance access, accountability, and overall education standards across the country. Chinsisi Moyo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Roads Fund Administration, RFA, has given Lilongwe City Council 15.5 billion kwacha to rehabilitate and maintain roads in the city during the current financial year. Speaking in an interview with MBC after an interaction between the two sides, Chief Executive Officer for RFA, Stuart Balata, said this has been possible because the organization has now started receiving fuel levy, which was not being remitted for the past 3 years. From Lilongwe, Patrick Dambula reports.
At the end of an interaction between the Roads Fund Administration, RFA, and the Lilongwe City Council, which was aimed at discussing the state of roads in the city, the RFA has given an amount of 15.5 billion kwacha to the Lilongwe City Council, and this has been done under the Special City Roads Financing Project. Chief Executive Officer for RFA, Stuart Malata, said a number of roads in Lilongwe are in bad shape, but maintenance could not be done in the past few years due to financial challenges. Malata said the figure will be reviewed at mid-year and subject to availability of financial resources and the progress which the Lilongwe City Council will make, the amount could be increased. He shares the expectations which his organization has now that an agreement has been reached between them and the council.
We want the projects to be properly monitored. We want to make sure that the quality of the roads is very good, and so that the public will use those roads not just for 1 year, but for a number of years, the lifetime of a rehabilitated road. So that's our expectation. Value for money is very important.
Commenting on the development, Chief Executive Officer for Lilongwe City Council, Clement Istambuli, said some roads need to be rebuilt, some need maintenance, while others, which stalled due to financial challenges, need completion. Among the roads that have been lined up under the project are Sherab in Area 47 across Lingazi River up to the Bingu National Stadium Road, Area 18 Senti Road, and the Jirima Highway Kamuzu Barracks Road, among others. The projects will start within the next 60 days, according to Stambuli.
Some of the projects had already started, but due to finances, they had stopped. So it's a matter of us going back to the contractors, discuss, and then they get on site. For example, in Area 49, we had a contractor. The Senti Road, we had a contractor. And the other roads which I've mentioned, which will be working with the Army is government. The council is government. So the process of getting to site is much quicker.
Apart from Lilongwe City Council, other city councils and municipals as well as district councils are also expected to benefit from the initiative by the RFA. Patrick Dambula, MPC News, Lilongwe.
Now, Minister of Agriculture Rosa Mbirizi has today opened tobacco sales at Chinkoma auction floors in Kasungu with a call to farmers to bring quality leaf to fetch better prices. Mbirizi has since urged buyers to offer reasonable prices. The highest price recorded so far is $3 per kilogram, while the lowest stands at $1.20 per kilogram. This comes a day after the minister officially opened this year's tobacco marketing season at Kanengo auction floors in Lilongwe. Now, this is MBC News, a reminder of our top stories. Government calls on citizens to spearhead national progress by developing innovative solutions to address the country's pressing challenges. The Roads Fund Administration allocates 15.5 billion kwacha for the rehabilitation and maintenance of Lilongwe City roads. And the Northern Region Football Association raises concern over rehabilitation delays of Mzuzu Stadium.
Malawi's agricultural export industry is growing, but trusted testing and certification are essential for export success.
As Malawi Mangoes, we are very excited with the news that Malawi Bureau of Standards will be accredited to conduct tests on the samples that currently we've been exporting to Spain to get the results.
That meant higher costs, long delays, and uncertainty.
With world-class equipment, we can certify locally.
An upgrade made possible with support from Trademark Africa.
Our test results are credible and comparable to those from accredited labs worldwide.
Certification from Malawi builds confidence in sourcing. Now, exporters are more competitive worldwide.
Aga, kwa sochiluka, speak sis, ndiyankolani. Kamalo kochepa, kumazokolola kamwemwe. Izi ni mbewu zogwizana ndi kusintha kwa nyengo, zopirira kuchilala. Ndipo zimalola zigawo zonse za dziko lino. Iphani makwacha komanso thisani njala, kolima mbewu za Speak sis, mbewu ndenda.
Welcome back. The Lilongwe Magistrates Court has adjourned a case involving 13 people who are accused of assaulting Executive Director of CIDED, Sylvester Namiwa, to 20th and 21st May next month. Senior Resident Magistrate Shukrani Kumbani, however, condemned the manner in which the defense side is conducting themselves in the case. On Tuesday, defense lawyer George Kazipatike asked for adjournment as the 5th and 12th accused persons were not present. Kazipatike also told the court that the state had served them with revised court documents late, which now include a 13th suspect, and needed enough time to review the documents. Kazipatike explains.
What transpired was that two of the accused persons, we are representing 13 accused persons, two of them were not present today. And we applied for an adjournment, and the court has graciously granted us the adjournment. Cool. We are happy that the court has granted us the application that we made. All the 12 accused persons are already on bail, and the 13th accused person, who was arrested 3 weeks ago, was in custody, and it was necessary that he has to be granted bail as well. So the court has granted him bail.
And head of prosecutions for the Malawi Police Service, Prescott Mwayulipo, expressed concern over the reasons that the defense side gave for the adjournment.
Let me expressly indicate that the state was ready with 4 witnesses today, and as per the previous adjournment, the court actually gave us 2 days, 2 consecutive dates, 21st and 22nd, and the state was more than ready to parade its witnesses within the specified number of days. So it came as our shock to hear from counsel for the defense telling the court that they were not ready to proceed with the case today, despite the availability of these 4 witnesses that the state had prepared. Considering their reasons, They may seem to be justifiable reasons on their part, but on our part as state, they were just very flimsy. And that is why we had to humbly ask the court to proceed with the case, because their reasons were actually so incredible, and the court could hardly believe the reasons to be true.
The Department of Civic Education under the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has launched civic education hubs designed to strengthen coordination and enhance community engagement across the country. Speaking during the launch, Blantyre Acting Director in the department, Acting Director in the department, Lawrence Useni, explained that these forums will disseminate accurate information on critical national issues such as health, agriculture, and good governance, among others. Ruth Chinangwa with the details.
According to Hussein, the forums will also help combat misinformation and regulate the flow of information while supporting the country's aspiration of 2063 on civic education. He added, so far, the European Union has supported the implementation through the establishment of 20 hubs.
The number of times where, for example, as a country, we will promote hard work. However, you find that in other forums, for example, some churches, they will say there's miracle money. Those are two conflicting messages which we want the community to absorb. And without standardization, they're not effective. One end will lose. So we want a situation where we give out a message that is agreed between all the parties. In this case, the church and the state, where the state is encouraging people to work hard, according to my 2063. The other players should also take the same message across.
Speaking at the event, Blantyre District Commissioner Alex Ndogo said the forums will encourage communities in the district to actively participate in the development activities.
Every citizen has a role to play, be it in project identification or project implementation. Entry points usually, in our case, in the district is what we call the area development committees. But they start from as low as the village development committees. But what we see usually, people, since we have got the chairperson of the ADC, since we have got the councillors, since we have got the chiefs, then we don't have much role to play. But this civic entails that each and every citizen has the role to play in the development of his or her own country, his or her own ward, his or her own constituency. So we need the total commitment and the engagement of the general public. So civic education helps to change the mindset.
Approximately 400 hubs are expected to be established nationwide with a total project cost of 5 billion kwacha. Ruth Chinangwa, MBC News, Blantyre.
The Farmers Union of Malawi FUM is set to roll out a new project called High Value Agriculture for Accelerated Youth Entrepreneurship, HIVA, targeting to empower about 25,000 youths in areas of agricultural entrepreneurship in Mangochi. Monitoring and evaluation specialist for Farmers Union of Malawi, Edwin Muntali, says the union has sourced $1.28 million to implement a number of initiatives, including employment opportunities for the youth. Sotini Ndazi has compiled this report, read by Owen Mavula.
As part of supporting government in promoting youth empowerment, Farmers Union of Malawi, FUM, is set to implement a project dubbed High Value Agriculture for Accelerated Youth Entrepreneurship in Mangochi. Speaking during presentation of the project to members of Mangochi District Executive Committee, Farmers Union of Malawi Monitoring and Evaluation Specialist Edwin Muntali said the project will involve capacity building programs for the youth, including women, largely in areas of innovative agricultural technologies, value addition, and access to reliable markets to enhance productivity.
We want to create work opportunities for 150,000 young farmers. And the specific value chains that we want to target are horticulture, honey, and poultry. We'll be working with the Ministry of Agriculture and all the relevant ministries that are concerned with young people in agriculture. And our goal is, by the end of the day, we create work opportunities within the agriculture sector.
Director of Planning and Development for Mangochi District Council, Newton Muntali, hailed Farmers Union of Malawi for including Mangochi as one of the project's beneficiaries, saying the initiative has potential to significantly transform lives of youth in the district.
The interest is very high. Youths, they are engaged in different economic activities, and one of them is venturing into agriculture. So they are much willing to do agriculture as a business. So the coming in of this project is just going to give them a push.
The organization is currently implementing similar projects in other 15 districts.
Women living with HIV in the country have been urged to go for cervical cancer screening frequently in order to minimize their risk of getting infected with the disease. The call, which has been jointly made by gynecologists from Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital and the Coalition of Women Living with HIV and AIDS, COLA, has been made on the sidelines of cervical cancer screening campaign currently underway in Mwanza. Temba Mwale has found this report.
The initiative is being led by the Malawi Healthcare Support (MAHECAS) with support from partners such as Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital, Mwanza District Hospital and College of Medicine. Speaking with MBC, Dr. Green Lasten, a gynecologist at Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital, said HIV-positive women are at higher risk of suffering from cervical cancer.
Our women who are living with HIV, or to say who are HIV positive, it is very important for them to have regular screening for cervical cancer because the viruses or the germs which cause or which put a woman at the highest risk of developing cervical cancer, they flourish or they grow faster in a woman or in a person whose immunity has gone down due to various reasons, and one of the reasons, or one of the commonest reasons, is being HIV positive. So if a woman is living with HIV, it is required to be going for cervical cancer screening every 12 months, or we can say every year.
In her remarks, COLA President for Mwanza District, Edith Kachulu, who was diagnosed of HIV in 2010, says the immunity of an HIV person is generally fragile, thereby putting them at greater risk of contracting cervical cancer.
I urge fellow women living with the virus to go for cervical cancer screening. Screening helps protect lives, and it is not painful in any way.
Meanwhile, MAHECA's coordinator, Lawrence Gogodas, has urged traditional leaders in the country to be in the forefront in encouraging women to go for cervical cancer screening.
I encourage the chiefs in the villages around to sensitize their people, especially women and young girls, that they should go and do the screening of the cervical cancer if possible. Not only the time when we are coming to them, but they can also tell them to go to the nearest health centers and hospitals to get their cancer screened.
Since the exercise started in the district, over 300 women have undergone cervical cancer screening, with at least 6 suspected cases detected. Temba Mwale, MBC News, Mwanza.
In sport, the Northern Region Football Association has expressed concern over the delay on the rehabilitation of Mzuzu Stadium, a situation the association says has the potential to contribute to Moyale Barracks and Mzuzu City Hammers' poor performance in their respective leagues. NRFA chairperson Masia Nyasuru made the remarks after inviting the mayor for Mzuzu City during inspection of the ongoing rehabilitation of the stadium after its closure by the Football Association of Malawi FAM for failing to meet minimum standards. Rodoviko Nyirenda has details in this report.
Following the closure of the stadium, Northern Region Football Association engaged Mzuzu City Council to appreciate the progress made so far in the works. Nyasuru said the association, along with football stakeholders, fear that both Moyale Barracks and Mzuzu City Hammers risk relegation from FDH Premier League and NBS League respectively. He added that delays in rehabilitating the stadium are negatively affecting the team's preparations as they are forced to use the Rumpi Stadium as their home ground.
We are so concerned looking at how our teams are performing. Moyale Football Club uses Muzuzu Stadium as their home ground, and the Muzuzu City Hammers as well, they use Muzuzu Stadium as their home ground. So after we learned that the stadium was declared not fit to host these games by the Football Association of Malawi, we thought of engaging the city mayor so that at least we should be assured of as to when is the stadium going to be available for these teams so that they can start using Zuzu Stadium as their home ground.
Super League of Malawi, Surom Vice General Secretary Donex Chilonga said a number of requirements have to be met for the stadium to be certified.
The lines that we're actually seeing at the middle, those need to be worked on properly. But if you look at the way it is, if it is to be slashed properly, it should be ready to host our games. Otherwise, we need to have them work on those areas that they have been appointed so that this ground, this pitch is usable for the games.
Muzuzu City Mayor Chembekezo Moses assured the stakeholders that the council will speed up the works.
As the mayor of Muzuzu City, I come to visit the stadium. I appreciate the stadium. The stadium here is in bad state, but I'll try my best to make it fit for this coming season.
All stakeholders have agreed to conduct another inspection of the facility the following week to assess progress. Rudoviko Nyerenda, MBC News, Muzuzu.
Well, that item concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. Government calls on citizens to spearhead national progress by developing innovative solutions to address the country's pressing challenges. The Roads Fund Administration allocates 15.5 billion kwacha for the rehabilitation and maintenance of Lilongwe City roads. And the Northern Region Football Association raises concern over rehabilitation delays of Mzuzu Stadium. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Sifati Msusa, alongside our sign language interpreter, Savita Wirima. From the entire news team, it's thanks for watching and bye for now.
School's out. Fun.